Right guys, welcome back to episode 2 of A Little Catch Up With. This is basically my new series where I talk to musicians and creatives about their mental health. We've had a tough time being musicians and creators the last few months with gigs and venues being closed down and cancelled, so it now feels more important than ever to discuss mental health and open up the conversation and not have any judgment about it. So I'm here joined by my boss, Jack Alexander.
Yeah, Jack Alexander, boss.
Boss.
Oh, mate, you're bossing it right now. You can see the studio. It's absolutely.
It's looking all right, isn't it? It's getting
So
getting everything dialed in.
so good, man.
How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing good. You know.
Yeah.
And I saw that you posted the other day about you know, musicians and artists from all over coming together.
Yeah.
And I just knew I had to message you.
Oh, definitely,
man.
man.
Like, bro, I've like.
The response to this has been really, really, really great. We chatted off camera and I said, like, I've had like 30 people like want to be on this, and then like quite a few people who want to like sort of help make all this possible. So it's been really good. And like yesterday I filmed one with Kieran, so he opened up. It was I think when it comes out, a lot of people will get a lot of value from it.
Yeah, definitely, and hearing everyone's like personal experiences as well.
Yeah,
mental health is such like it's a term that some people don't understand, and there's a massive stigma around mental health.
Yeah.
When someone says you got mental health, like especially with like the media and stuff like that, social media, you think the worst thing.
Yeah.
Like mental health, everyone's got mental health. It's
How do you think like social media like plays a role in it?
Oh, massively. I was reading an article the other day about it's totally irrelevant to my mental health, but it just goes to show. Sorry, man, I'm gonna put my phone.
No, go for it, man. It's calm.
It just goes to show like the effect that media has on mental health. Like
Yeah.
I've read an article about a paranoid schizophrenic that killed someone.
Yeah.
But they had to mention like paranoid schizophrenic.
Yeah.
And when someone's got schizophrenia, they're more likely to harm themselves. And, like,
That's
than
the thing,
anyone
yeah.
else. And a lot of people think that they have multi-personalities and stuff.
That's different thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Exactly. It's a totally different thing. I don't personally have it, but I know people do have it, and they're the nicest people in the world. And if they are going to go through an episode or traumatic experience, they're more likely to harm themselves as well.
Definitely.
So I think the media, they do portray it because people read into that stuff. People read into about people with mental health, and the first thing they see is paranoid schizophrenic. It already adds to that stigma.
Yeah.
Like they're going to be violent people.
So take like going to like musicians and mental health and stuff. For a while, like going to this musician, Kanye West, he's clearly having a problem. But I think now he does need that help, because like there's been a while where people have like said, oh yeah, it's just Kanye being Kanye, that's just typical him. But now it's sort of more prevalent than ever that he's going through a tough time.
Yeah. I mean,
but the media spin it as, oh yeah, Kanye's being crazy.
He's just gone crazy again.
Yeah,
he's gone crazy again. And I must admit that I've been on like social media, and I've kind of joined in as well. Like, you know, Kanye is just being Kanye.
Yeah.
But because he is this massive celebrity,
I did the same. I think it's just my naivety to it until like I researched it, and I'm like, shit, he needs some help.
He needs some help. When it doesn't matter, like mental health or mental illnesses in this case, doesn't have a target audience. Just because you're rich and you're famous and you're Kanye West, you're on top of the world, you're married to one of the most hottest women in the world, and you're multi-millionaire, you can buy anything. It doesn't stop you from that mental illness.
Like when you look at it from the outside, having money, the fame, amazing wife, all of that, Grammys and shit, although he doesn't care about Grammys anymore. But you'd think, oh yeah, that would make you happy. You know, why would you be unhappy? You've got all of that. But up here, you're secretly struggling, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And especially being someone of that sort of nature, or you know, you've got that status behind them, being like this massive rock star or worldwide famous person, they don't want to find the help.
Yeah.
I don't know Kanye's situation.
I think it's with, particularly with men, it's hard to ask for help, especially when it comes to mental health. Like being autistic, like Kieran's documentary, I said this to him on the episode. His documentary basically inspired me to. It sounds really like cringy, but go public with it. because I got my diagnosis like a few weeks before his documentary came out, and then seeing his documentary and the response to it, and people like saying, "Oh, this is amazing, well done, mate, proud of you." That sort of made me want to go, you know, I don't need to hide this label.
Yeah, and I tell you, we've all been there. There's like that certain pride, strength behind it. I mean, I've been in really dark places before, and I felt like I could sort it out myself. So like, kind of brush it under the carpet.
I felt like that too,
and it just gets to,
it bottles up and builds up, doesn't it?
There's a theory. I went through like really bad stage with my sort of like anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
And there's this the one bit of advice that kind of stuck with me, especially like men like hiding their feelings.
Yeah.
And women, like people hiding their feelings. Imagine you're a fizzy pop cola bottle.
Yeah.
And inside the liquid is like your feelings.
Yeah.
So any like traumatic experience or negative impact that you have, you shake the bottle.
Yeah.
And because you're bottling it up inside, what's going to happen when you unrelease?
It's eventually just going to explode, isn't it?
You're going to explode. You're going to go into an episode. You're going to go crazy, man. All crazy.
Yeah.
I bottled it up at one point to the point where my anxiety was so bad that I couldn't tell what was thoughts or what was reality anymore. It was a really psychotic episode. And,
it's scary. It's tough, isn't it? Especially if it's like your first sort of scenario with it. Your first episode can be absolutely terrifying.
Yeah. Then you're hearing these thoughts, especially with anxiety. It's quite hard. Well, mine was quite hard to tell what was thoughts and what weren't thoughts. Really, what was something speaking in my ears, like telling me really negative things about my life, not about anyone else. To the point where I was just like, man, I've had enough. I want to kill myself. Sorry, mate. I've got
it's calm, man.
Frog in my
coronavirus.
So it got to the point where I was just like, you know what, I can't deal with this anymore. And I cried and I called my mum.
It's good to cry though.
Yeah, it's really good to cry. It's really good to cry. It's really good to be in touch with your feelings and your emotions and to understand what you're going through as well.
Absolutely.
And if you speak to someone like I did, I reached out to my mum. She found me help. But opening that support network around you, man.
It's good to have a good little circle of people who, one, understand and know how to sort of deal with it if you're having an episode.
Yeah. And on the back of that, to recognise toxic sort of friendships as well. So you be true to the ones that you love and just open up to them. And it's good for them to know how you feel. So they can encourage you to get the support that you need as well, no matter if it's small. If you message me one day, man, I'll jump at the chance.
Likewise, man.
I'd cheers, man. But I'd help you, and having that support network with like true people, true friends, it really does help. It just means that you're not alone.
I realised that because me having autism, I find it incredibly difficult to ask for help because relationships and that social side of things is just completely blank to me. If you put me on stage in front of 1 million people on a guitar and a microphone, I'd be set. I'd know exactly what to do. Room full of 30 people and you have to have a conversation with them, I'd be like, where do I start? So when I realised that I did need to start asking for help, it was sort of at a point where it was too late because I was in such a low spot that I'd literally fallen out of love with every passion I have. You could have told me, you're playing at Wembley tomorrow. I'd be like, all right, fine. I'd literally fallen out of love with gigging, with creating, with making videos, with photography, editing. All of my passions I'd fallen out of love with because I didn't know how to ask for help and I didn't know that mental health was a conversation that could be had. Yeah.
It's and it's getting over that first barrier. I think is the biggest one. But asking for help is. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
How do you cope now? Because I said in the first episode that if I'm feeling low, for me, I need for some people, isolating themselves could be the worst thing, especially if they're having really, really dark thoughts. Isolating themselves could be the worst thing. But for me, every mental health issue is different. But for me, having that little bit of alone time is the perfect thing. Switching everything off, shutting myself away. And for me, meditation is the best thing. I said on the first one, any app is just redundant to the Calm app that I've got on my phone just work wonders. So what do you do when like you get like in a low spot, or if you're struggling, everything's just like a bit overwhelming?
I have anxiety, and when I've had times where I struggle to get out of bed, or even get into the car to drive to work because I feel like I'm going to crash.
It's hard to even leave the house when you've got that kind of stuff dealing with.
It's just like everything, like you worry about everything, like and the way that I deal with things, there's like a variety of like self-help techniques.
Yeah.
Luckily, I do have a good support network.
Yeah.
Where I can reach out to people.
Definitely, man.
But if I'm gonna have a panic attack, I'll try breathing techniques.
Yeah.
There's other things that you can do, like going for a walk.
Definitely.
As silly as it sounds,
there's science behind going for a walk and getting like a bit of outside air and oxygen that it somehow affects your brain. So there's proper science behind it, isn't there?
Everyone has a mental well-being.
Yeah.
And mental well-being is a brilliant thing. It gives you resilience. It helps you deal with stress, trauma, and everyday situations.
Yeah.
And oh bloody hell, what am I going on about now? Like my mind's
self-help techniques.
Yeah. So there's self-help techniques that will help with like your resilience.
Yeah.
And the way that you deal with certain situations. And sort of, going for exercise and going for walks, it releases like natural endorphins.
It does.
So if you have like a chemical imbalance, which mine was a chemical imbalance.
Yeah.
It gives you that sort of natural
top up, if you know what I mean.
I'm no scientist.
Yeah.
But it does give you that sort of natural top up of whatever chemical that is in your brain. And it levels it up naturally.
Yeah.
Naturally. So you're eating, like changing things in your life.
Definitely.
Like diet. Like I was eating crappy foods, man.
I still do eat crappy foods. Like that's where I definitely need to improve. And to be fair, I think if I did start, my mental health and general just well-being would just skyrocket if I start eating healthy. But with the autism, some things are just like a no for me. And the annoying thing is, it's fucking like fruit and vegetables I just cannot stand like the texture or taste of. I sound like a small child. The amount of waffles that I eat at the moment.
Suppose you can see that in a good way, because
it could be like it's a comfort food, like, but
wow, yeah.
I do need to start eating healthier. But particularly with lockdown and the lack of outdoor time and socialising, how do you think that's like affected like your well-being and everybody else's well-being?
This lockdown, so
it's been weird.
It has been weird, man. It's been like a roller coaster for me.
Particularly like since we've like a few weeks ago, I was thought, oh, we're through the thick of it, everything's being relaxed, and now we're like, yeah,
we're here.
We're here again
for another 6 months.
For another 6 months.
At first, I was worried.
Yeah, same.
I remember just before, I think right in the new year, me and you, the whole band came up with like this plan. Like, we're going to release music. We're going to do this. We've got to do this content every week and stuff.
We did our last gig at Club 85.
Yeah,
that was weird, wasn't it?
It was weird. It was
great, but weird.
Yeah, and that was like just at the beginning of lockdown. Then after that, everything just kind of stood still, like the world stood still.
It was bizarre.
And everyone's plans went out the window. I couldn't see my mum. My mum was living at Spain at the time. And it was just literally just me and my partner in this house, and my son.
Yeah.
In this house, and it gets to you. It does get to you.
It really does.
But at the same time, it made me, I kind of put music to a side a little bit. And, I thought, there's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
Why not focus on like the little things? Like,
being there with Halen and stuff.
My son, spending more time with him and doing things that I want to do.
Yeah.
And with music, it has given me an opportunity to, especially with mental health. I love writing about my sort of mental health.
Yeah.
And
it's good to write about that though. It's really good to write about that. Like, I think, what was it, Youngblood the other day announced his new album called Weird. I love the album cover because he's got bipolar, and each person that he's dressed up as is like a different personality, which I thought was like really, really clever.
It's really effective, isn't it? Yeah, I've seen that. But yeah, music for me does help. And sorry, I've got like burps. it's like
It's
good
all calm.
self-help technique as well.
Yeah.
So writing my feelings.
It's like escapism, isn't it? Like if I'm feeling like shit, I'll just listen to like the happiest song ever, and it sort of like gives you like a little pick me up.
Yeah. I listen to a lot of heavy metal at the moment. So
Nice.
I'm in no frame of mind when.
But to be fair, that if that helps, then it works.
Yeah, no, I do like a good old riff.
Nice.
But yeah, music, man, it really does help, and it helps you recognize how you feel. And they say like the best sort of time to write music or poetry or anything like that, or be creative, is when you're at your lowest.
Yeah, definitely.
For some reason you put more energy into it, and it's more from the heart.
Yeah, definitely. Like this lockdown, it's been weird because music's really taken like a backseat for me. Like it was sort of last priorities, because for me, lockdown gave me like a proper bit of motivation that I needed. I wanted to be self-employed for months and months. I just like wasn't happy in my job. That's when I was proper low. That's when I was like losing interest in like everything. But then lockdown was announced and I left my job the day before all the schools and stuff were closed down, and I've like not stopped working, and that has been really beneficial for me. And I know a lot of people it's been like really, really good. But then it has sort of mental health wise, it has taken effect, because I'm like, oh mate, I can't go out and film for people. I can't gig. And then when it started to sink in that, this weekend I got no gigs. Like it was fucking weird.
I know. And for us as a band,
it's been
it sucks.
It sucks because we've been rehearsing, we've been working on new stuff.
Yeah, we've got like demos recorded, we've got
music video plans.
But it's just like everything's on a hold again.
Yeah.
But the important thing to remember is like we're all in this together.
Definitely.
So even if you're feeling bad about the music has halted, you can't gig, you can't do anything like that at the moment, or it's harder to anyway.
Yeah.
Everyone's in the same situation.
Definitely.
So don't worry too much about it. Just know that you're not alone. Especially if you're watching this and you are writing music, you are planning on gigging and you're struggling to find the gigs, don't worry. Like seriously, don't worry, because we're in this together.
Yeah.
Like we know the struggle. Before lockdown, we were getting gigs in, man. We had loads of gigs.
We had loads and
loads of gigs booked in that we've had unannounced. But no, it's all been cancelled. Festival season, man.
That would have been great. Like it was weird. Like I was like driving up to here a few weeks ago, and I was driving down Baldock High Street, and I was like, it's Ballstock weekend. I was like, this place would be rammed. Like there'd be no cars. It'd be like stage everywhere. It was really weird. That was really hard for me to see. Like driving down Baldock High Street and not seeing the main stage on Ballstock weekend.
Doesn't it?
It actually does.
Totally different. Like I had the stories, on Facebook come up, and it was when we were playing on stage in Ballstock. We're there, and loads
the Facebook memories and stuff.
We're on the main stage, and like now, looking back at that, I've taken that for granted.
Yeah,
I feel like I've taken that for granted, and I miss it so much.
Do you think live music as a whole was sort of taken for granted?
100%, man. And you know what? Like it makes all like. The shit gigs that we do.
Yeah.
Can I swear on this?
Yeah, of course, man.
Fucking
honestly,
right.
If you've seen Kieran's one, honestly, I don't think that will be monetized. I'm surprised if it is, but yeah.
You can blank it out. It's fine.
Yeah.
What was I saying again?
Talking about gigs.
Yeah. So what was I talking about? Gigs.
Ballstock and seeing it all on like timelines and stuff.
Yeah. It made like so when I had everything. When I was looking back at all the memories of like last year at Ballstock, and it just makes me like I've taken it for granted, and I've taken live gigging for granted.
Yeah, same.
It's in front of 3 people.
Yeah.
And like
those London gigs we did.
I would happily do 100 of those London gigs.
Oh, definitely. The bit I've missed, because I do like obviously I play originals with you, which is like it's such a nice change from doing like covers gigs and stuff, but I never thought I'd say that I'd miss packing down my gear.
Yeah.
Like loading it into the car after a gig, like after playing 2 hours, and I'm like, I just want to be in bed. I just want to go home.
Yeah.
Just want to chill. And you got to like load in your gear. I've missed that.
Yeah, I know. Tell me, I missed seeing people, just random people, and because we're so controversial.
Yeah.
I miss seeing the angry people. I miss seeing people that are offended. No, I'm joking. But But I miss like the interaction that you get before, after the gigs. You know, packing up, sound check, everything about it, man. I miss it.
Because that's one thing as well I've noticed. Like us musicians, I think it's fair to say we like getting praise. We rely on feedback, whether it be someone liking our recent cover video or, you know, the simplest thing and probably the most obvious, claps after a song or a gig.
Yeah.
How has it been like not having that sort of like regular sort of feedback and that praise? Because it's such a, I don't rely on it too much, but it's not, especially doing covers gigs, because sometimes you just background noise. But when you're playing an original set and, you know, the crowd fucking goes mad for it, like claps and even sings along, like, because our audience, they know our songs and stuff now, and they'll sing along. So how's it been like not having that regular sort of, I'd say that's like a little mental health top up, isn't it?
Yeah. Obviously, it does enhance your mental well-being. It gives you ego.
Yeah, it does. But it's a good feeling, though.
It's an amazing feeling. Like, I'm not this chill on stage. Like,
definitely not.
Like, what you see now is totally different.
Mate, we always joke, there's like a Jack Alexander 3-point checklist. Either a beer gets spilled, a microphone stand gets knocked over, and you go into a crowd shirtless.
Yeah.
Most of them getting ticked on that gigs.
I think every single, if we
it's usually
Jack
a beer that gets
bingo,
spilled.
I think you get a full house every single gig. But like that, what you see on stage is like, you know, when I say about bottling feelings,
yeah,
that's kind of like an alter ego. And my alter ego is to release so much like anger.
It's an energy.
And energy, man. Like, you'll see me climbing a stack of like
speakers and stuff at Club 85.
Jumping off of me, like Club 85 at the time, or jumping into the crowd on the microphone. And
standing on top of the table, the really wobbly tables.
That's the only time in... it's a different feeling, but you feel alive. And
definitely.
You feel the moment. And not feeling that moment, kind of like...
It's like an adrenaline rush, isn't it?
Absolutely. And not having that... Seeing them people, like your audience is more like family.
Yeah,
it's like
definitely.
And not seeing them around when we done like the live stream gigs, it's not.
It was weird because the people clapping were literally like the camera crew and the other band.
And when we done the other live stream gig when we're here in the studio, it's not the same.
It's strange. Like after you play a song and it's like dead silence. I mean, to be fair, most of my gigs I'm used to it because they're cover gigs, but it's weird like playing to dead silence. But the one thing I thought was really sick was how everybody in like the local music scene pretty much like banded together and supported each other's like live streams. They were sharing everything, and recently now the gigs are coming back, everybody's sharing everybody's gigs.
And I think that's really important. I think lockdown and this COVID situation has helped people be more connected, because we're online now.
Definitely,
we're all online and we're connected with each other. And people are. I do see the support now.
Yeah,
I've seen it. A lot of people. I'm supporting more artists now because you know, there's a lot more to not sharing.
I think we all like took it a little bit for granted, really, didn't we?
Oh, man,
because there was like always going to be like regular guaranteed gigs, but now it's just sort of like up in the air, relies on the weather and stuff because it's all outdoors. Like I think we all each like took gigs for granted and stuff. So it's nice that. Well, it's weird that a global pandemic brought everybody closer together and at the end of the day helped everybody's mental health in some way, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I can't wait for it to be over.
Same, mate. Same.
I hate it. And it's, they said this new normal.
Yeah.
It's just about adjusting to it, really.
It is. It's strange. Like when you like walk down the street and you see someone, it's literally like elbows now rather than like a hug or a handshake. It's strange.
And there's going to be a few more changes, and
definitely.
Who knows what the future is going to hold, man? And hopefully, like by this time next year, COVID will be a long distant memory.
I think it's a time we will remember the most in our lives. Like, you know, grandparents and stuff, you know, it would have been like wars and, you know, huge, massive elections. But for us, I think this really defines like a decade of our life.
Yeah, definitely.
It's weird.
Yeah. I think, I don't know what I'm going to say. I was going to say something, but
that's cool, man.
It just went. Oh, no.
That's cool, man. So I want to ask every guest this question on this little video series, because it's all about positivity. It's all about mental health, and hopefully people who watch this series and hear people's stories get a bit of value and know, you know, they might think at home watching this or hearing this, I feel like this. I'm glad I'm not the only person who feels like this, and how to cope with this. But I know it's hard to hear, but it's good to have some sort of like positive stuff to it. So I want to ask every guest this: what's one thing that's made you happy this week? Although we're filming this on a Monday, like, or what's one thing that's made you happy recently?
What's one thing that's made me happy?
Yeah.
Can I show you what's made me happy?
Yeah, go for it, man.
What? I'll show you exactly what's made me happy this year.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. We'll put it on the screen of the video as well. But that's beautiful, mate.
This is my little boy and
your mini you.
Mini me.
Playing guitar, writing songs.
Yeah, and you know, having a kid is like it's changed my life forever.
Oh, definitely.
It's changed my life forever completely. And like I live for him, and like anything that he does different or new, or he learns something, I've become like more proud.
Yeah.
So yeah, he walked up the stairs on
That's sick.
Yeah, obviously with like my help.
Yeah.
Something like that, little things like that. Oh, I'm so proud of you, man.
I know, right?
That's like the main positive thing.
It's like the kid off their stabilizers kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Just seeing him grow up, just being with him he's literally my best mate, and any day with him is a really positive day, and it's about that, you know.
Yeah.
Especially mental health. Be close to the ones that you love.
Oh, definitely.
Whether they're your children or your nieces, nephews, brothers, sisters, dads,
friends, family, all that.
Family.
Yeah.
Spend time with them people you love. Because you never know when they're not going to be around anymore.
Exactly, mate. That's inspiring stuff, mate. Thank you so much for like taking part and supporting this, showing interest. You gave it like a massive old share, so yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. And make sure you check out Jack Alexander. It's weird. We've got some new music coming soon. God knows when, because Big Bad Rona messing everything up, but
yeah, everything's on the hold, a little bit on hold.
Yeah,
we're getting there.
Slowly working. We've done rehearsals.
You'll be hearing from us soon. But can I just say one more?
Go for it, mate.
One more thing. Mental health isn't bad. It's
absolutely.
Mental illnesses can be controlled and they can be overcome. Reach out to your friends. Reach out to your family. And be in touch with your feelings.
Definitely.
Recognise them. And just get the help that you need.
Definitely.
If you break your arm, you wouldn't leave it, would you?
That's a good way to put it, mate. That's a really good way to put it.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. Go and get yourself help and be the person that you want to be.
That's inspiring stuff, man. Thanks everybody for watching. Hope this helped. I've been Connor Wells. This has been a little catch up with Jack Alexander, and we'll see you very soon.